Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm glad you could join me today. My name is Kalyi and today we're going to be talking about the battle between good and evil that's happening right now. Before I get into the topic today, I have to mention that I've just launched an online course. It's a shortened version of my psychic and spiritual development course for beginners. If you can't do it with me in person, if you want to do it at your own pace, then you're quite welcome to purchase that course, and I'll put the link down below and also in the description. So there is a battle being fought right now between good and evil, and it's basically trying to influence you to give up your free will so that ultimately you won't ascend at this time. So throughout this video, I'm going to be referencing the Law of One, which I've talked about a few times now. The Law of One is a channeled work, channeled by a highly evolved non-human entity, and it talks about the 7 levels or densities of consciousness evolution. I suggest that you watch that video now so that you'll have more detail about what I'm going to be talking about. So as a quick summary, the Law of One says that we are evolving through 7 levels of consciousness. And currently we're in the 3rd level, and we have the opportunity now to start to go into 4th level, or 4th density, as Law of One refers to it. There's many other ancient texts that talk about this time in history, the ascension. It's been referred to as Armageddon, Samvartika fire, possibly Kali Yuga, and the Mayan calendar ending and a new one beginning. But whichever source you reference, they all really talk about this battle at the end times. And this is the end times, the end of the world as we know it, because the 4th level is going to be very different from the 3rd level. So each level has a lesson to be learned. And in the 3rd level, the lesson is self-awareness. In the 4th level, the lesson is love, compassion, and understanding. The 4th level is going to be a lot more loving, a lot more harmonious. Also in the 3rd level, we have what's called the veil of forgetting, where we forget our past lives, we forget that we're connected to everybody, to everything. In the 4th level, that veil will be lifted and we'll remember all these things. Also in the 3rd level, we have negative emotions, and these are referred to in the Law of One as catalyst. So the negative emotions help to motivate us to evolve. If we didn't have the suffering from the negative emotions, we might not be motivated to evolve ourselves. But in 4th level, these won't exist. The 3rd level is actually the hardest level, and it's the shortest level as well, probably because it's the hardest. If we don't graduate into 4th level, we will have to go back and repeat the 3rd level again. So it's very beneficial to understand what's going on here and now so that you could have a chance to ascend. We'll all eventually ascend anyway, but why not take the opportunity now while it's here? 3rd level is 75,000 years, so it's quite an opportunity that it's ending now and the 4th level starting now. This is a very rare thing to happen. So we have a unique opportunity right now. What are the influences in the battle between good and evil? These influences start basically as soon as we're born. Firstly, we're told by science that we are insignificant and we're here by random chance, and there's no order to the universe. And secondly, we're told by society that the markers of success are things like gaining material wealth, gaining fame, popularity, and power. So we're potentially sent on the wrong path from the very start. According to the law of one, the one creator, or God, if you like, I don't use that term very often, but it's basically the same thing. This intelligent infinity created every single being and every single object in the universe in order to expand its consciousness of itself. So that perspective alone changes a lot of things. It means that each of our lives are not insignificant or random. Our contribution will feed back into the source energy and the collective energy and influences, adds to the whole in a meaningful way. So our contribution is very important. The lesson to be learned in the third level or the third density is self-awareness. And the lesson to be learned in fourth level is love, compassion, and understanding. So in order to graduate into fourth level, we have to be self-aware, and we also have to make an important choice. The law of one is very clear about this. We have to make the choice between following the positive path or the negative path. They call the positive path service to others and the negative path service to self. So the positive path would look like seeing that we're all equal, that we're all connected, and we're all evolving upwards. And looking after yourself, your own evolution, but also looking after other people, helping them evolve and helping to alleviate pain and suffering. The service to self path looks like gaining for yourself at the expense of other people. So gaining power, wealth, control by exploiting and manipulating other people. We have to consciously make the choice of which path we want to follow in this third level. And the first thing that makes that very difficult is because of those early influences that teach us that we're insignificant and the goals are material. A lot of people see life as a punishment or a burden. And when you have this perspective, it's very easy to fall into depression, confusion, fear, wondering whether you're following your true purpose, wondering whether there even is a true purpose, whether it's even worth continuing in life. When the truth of it is that this life is a gift. It's an opportunity to be here and participate, to have a chance to evolve. There's limited spaces on this earth at this time, so we're really actually privileged to be here and be able to participate. And life will present us with challenges and adversity in order to give us chances to practice and evolve. If we didn't have these difficulties, we wouldn't be able to evolve. We wouldn't be able to practice. So your entire mission is to deal with the difficulties that come to you in life with a loving heart, loving for yourself, others, nature, everything. But it's very hard to do that if you don't have the overall perspective of what life really is. The second big difficulty that I see is that the people who've chosen the negative path promote the negative path as being the correct path or the smart way to go. We can see this everywhere, and it's actually increasing, where people are seen as successful and smart if they become very rich. And if they manipulate and control other people, well, that's just seen as par for the course. Dog eat dog, the law of the jungle. These things are only really true for the negative path. That's not the way things have to be. In the 7 levels that we're evolving through, you can only evolve up to early 6th level on the negative path. If you want to progress beyond early 6th level, you have to change onto the positive path. And this would be incredibly difficult and would probably mean that you have to repeat a lot of the levels, waste a lot of energy and time, and have to work through a lot of negative karma. There's quite a lot of reasons to choose the positive path, and the negative path is not the smart way to go. When we leave this earth, all we'll leave with is how much we have evolved or devolved since we were born. We won't be able to take our riches, our fame, our popularity, our status, none of that. So the important thing is how you're evolving yourself, how you're developing. Another influence in the world right now that is part of this battle between good and evil is that there are also enormous schemes and plans being put in place in order to frighten people and bring up all kinds of negative emotions to basically lower our vibration. In this state of low vibration, it's impossible to ascend. And we can see these schemes increasing. And war is one of them. Wars just pop up, they're manufactured schemes. So these are very, very difficult to see through and very difficult to deal with. On those who have chosen the negative path and who have gained a lot of power, riches, status, and control through exploiting and manipulating others, basically don't want people to ascend because they want things to stay as they are. They're very happy with the way things are here, and they want to continue controlling and manipulating and exploiting people. So they want to try as hard as possible to stop us understanding what's happening, stop us using our free will, and stop us ascending. That's basically what the battle is all about. It's a spiritual battle using psychological and physical control methods. It's ultimately a spiritual battle. So how do we win the battle? Basically, we have to realize that our free will is extremely important. We have the choice about what path to follow, how to live our lives, and who we become. Your past conditioning does have an effect on you, of course. But because of free will, you can choose to not be defined by your past. If you had an abusive childhood, for example, you don't have to be defined by that childhood. You can use your free will to look at it and see what happened, but then change who you are. Grow and evolve who you are to become the best, brightest version of yourself with a really loving heart. That's the key. So I hope this has been interesting and helpful to you today. Please like and subscribe. It would mean a lot to me to grow this channel. And wherever you are in the world, I wish you love and courage on your journey. And I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. Take care and bye for now.